things that we have in the profession.
That's my room. I just have my table in my room, and I was working from there.
Thank you very much. It's my utmost pleasure to be here tonight. So we're going straight in. What next after the call? I'm sure high number of us here are intending lawyers. What next after the call? It's a question that runs through our minds, even as we're preparing for our call to bar, even after the call to bar. I want to let us know that after the call to bar, you'll be welcomed to the real life. And between trying to find your feet amongst thousands of lawyers and juggling that with your personal life, it might be a struggle. But I want to assure you that you shouldn't fret, because at the end of tonight's session, you'd have pointers that would definitely help you. So I'd like to speak on finding your feet first, because the legal profession, a noble one it is, but we have a high number of lawyers already. And after the call, you're adding another 1,000 of lawyers to it. So sometimes it could be uncertain. I think that's the word, as to, so what am I going to do now? There are people that went through university not really settling into the course. Some studied the course because their parents said so, or some just wanted a professional course and they chose it. While there are other people that actually loved it, and which was why they studied the course. So everyone has to find their feet after the call to bar. So I'm going to speak about some pointers that would help you find your feet after the call to bar. I think the first thing we should have at the back of our mind, the first thing we should notice is to get rid of our fear. Sometimes because we have the fear of the future, we have the fear of the unknown, it could it could make you, it could cripple you, so to say. It could make you just be in one position. I understand that, yes, we have a lot of lawyers already, and yes, you're going to be called to bar alongside a number of lawyers also. But if you allow that fear to overshadow your mind or to crowd your mind, you wouldn't really see solutions, or you wouldn't really see things that you ought to do. So the first thing that would help you to find your feet or find your footing after your call to bar is to get rid of that fear. Fine, yes, you have a number of lawyers already, and we're going to still have, and we'll still continue to have, but get rid of that fear. Tell yourself that you are definitely going to succeed in the legal profession. So the first pointer is to get rid of your fear. The second one would be research. Because after you've gotten rid of your fear, this is the time where you have to ask yourself the honest question: do I want to practice? That's even the first. Do I want to practice? And yes, if I'm practicing, what area of law do I want to look at? And this is where you have to start your research on what interests you and the things that you feel like are your major interests in the area of law, and the things that you want to pursue. Because if you do not have answers to that, it will be really hard. So once you have the answer to, first, whether you're going to practice, secondly, what aspects of law am I looking at? There are people that they already can tell from the word go that, I think litigation is my thing. While there are some people that will say that, okay, I think intellectual property would be my thing. And I'm not saying that you are just picking, oh, litigation is my thing, corporate commercial practice is my thing, just because you saw somebody on Instagram and the person is thriving in their area, or not just because you saw an entertainment lawyer online and you feel like, oh, I think that's what I want to do. I want to be popular like this person. No, that is why I said research. You need to research, find out the things that interest you personally, find out what you've been thriving at, and by the time you get answers to that, it would also help you to find your feet. Don't forget that I said that the first thing that you need to do is to get rid of your fear. If you're afraid, your fear will cripple you. You won't be able to reach out to or tap into your highest potentials if you're afraid. And the second thing you need to do is do your research. What are the things that interest you? What are the things that I are good at? There are some people that are very good. They are, even right from when they were in university, I'm sure that some universities they organize Mutamok sessions, and from there you know that this one, you're still in uni, you're so good like this. How much more when you start practicing? So you know that such persons are very good advocates, so they might be very good in litigation. So know what you're good at, know your interest. The third thing that would help you find your fit after your call to buy is your social network. We already know this. Social capital is very, very important. I know that we might have a lot of interests, we might have a lot of things that we want to do, but your social network will also help you point all of those things out. If you have mentors and if you have quality friends, emphasis on quality, if you have quality people around you, discussions with your fellow colleagues can even trigger or make you know the kind of person that you would be, the kind of lawyer or the aspects of law you might want to dive into after your call to bar. If you have mentors that would ask you questions as to, okay, so what are you doing? What is your plan? They would ask you pointed questions that in instance where you're even confused as to what to do or the way to go, having conversations with them would open your mind to, okay, I need to give you clarity as to, okay, I think this is the area of law I should pursue. So your social network. And it also comes in the aspects of even down from your uni to law school, you're going to meet different persons. And I would say that in your relationship with humans, just naturally be a good person, be friendly, be kind, and do your thing, because there are certain persons that you'd meet in your journey, your law journey, that will be very, very, very important to your journey. There are certain persons that you wouldn't even know, oh, okay, maybe they know somebody in a law firm that you're even looking to apply to, and they could put in a word for you. There are people that just because of their social capital, they've gotten jobs in places that they wanted to work in just because they knew the person. So that is also one of the ways you can find your foot after your call to bar, because your social network would help you in different ways in getting to know the kind of person that you are, in giving you clarity as to the area of law you want to pursue, or even in helping you with finding a place. Some people do not want to work in law firms. Some people want to work in corporate firms, in organizations. Some people want to work with NGOs. Whatever dream you have, wherever you want to work, there's always someone that could help you to put in a good work. So your social network. That, and don't forget that I said that just be yourself, be a good and kind person. Don't be fixated that, okay, because I want to work in a tier 1 firm or tier 2 firm, you are actively going out of your way to, okay, I just want to befriend, I want to befriend the rich people, I want to befriend the connected persons. No, I'm not saying you should do that, because there are certain persons that they're even the ones that you least expect, and they would connect you to great opportunities. So your social network is also important. And the last but not the least, which is even the most important, is the God factor. Yes, I know I mentioned that you should get rid of your fear. I know that I said you should research, get to find out about yourself. I know that I said that you should work on your social network, but the most important is the God factor, because God is actually the one that would help you. God is actually the one that is going to give you clarity as to your purpose. God is actually the one that would connect people that you need. I don't know if any one of us has had this experience of you met someone like a couple of years back, it was just like a casual meeting, but in some time in the future, the person, God used the person to like do a very, the person just took a significant role in your life later on in the future, and you at the time when you met the person, you never thought that the person would or was in a position to render that kind of help to you. I don't know if anyone has experienced that. So the God factor is always very important because it's the one that will direct your steps. It's the one who is going to help you also in your applications to firms, in your decision making, because a lot of factors are actually tied to this process. Your decision as to first whether you want to practice, your decision as to, okay, yes, I want to practice. What area of law do I want to practice in? Your decision as to, okay, I want to practice. Where do I want to practice? Some people might choose to practice in Lagos. Some people might choose to practice in Abuja. Some people might choose to practice in Port Harcourt. Some in the western states, eastern states, in the north. Those things are decisions that you cannot make just because you want to make them. So you need the God factor. Even in your applications, you'd hear that, oh, there are thousands of applicants, but for some reason they chose somebody, they did this, they did that. Oh, the person didn't even know anybody in the organization they chose. That's the grace of God. Is also the God factor. So I want us to know tonight that very importantly, we need these factors, 4 major factors, because they are the ones that would help us find our feet after the call to bar. I would repeat, the first one is to get rid of our fear. The second is to do our research about ourselves, about the area of law that we want to practice in, what we want to do with our lives going forward. The third is your social network, very important. And the fourth, most important, God factor. So I hope I've started learning 1 or 2 things, or I hope you can relate to these pointers that I just mentioned as to how they would help you find your feet even after the call to bar. So please let me just chip this in. If you have any questions, please just note them down. After the session, we'll take them. Thank you. So I'll be moving to another aspect which I think is very important for us to talk about, which is job hunting. The labor market. Job hunting after call to bar. Some people start the job hunting before call to bar, during the process of the call to bar, and even after call to bar. Job hunting is one process that people do not like to go through because for some people it can be stressful. So I'd like to speak about the first thing that would even help us with the job hunting, which is our CV, our curriculum vitae. You are an aspiring lawyer. You're going to be called to bar soon, or you're already a lawyer. How does your CV look? There are times where I feel like, okay, it's a popular saying that heaven helps those who help themselves, right? You'd see some people's CV in this time and age where we have technology and everything to make life easy for us, but the CV is not so good. The CV is not so good because, okay, let's say I mentioned that one of the pointers that would help you find your feet is, okay, your social capital. Let's say you know someone that works at Olaniwa Ajayi, you know someone that works at Templars, and the person says, okay, I'm going to help you. Send me a copy of your CV, send me a copy of your cover letter. And the person that recommended you opens your CV and sees something that is not so good at all. What would that say about you? So I think by now, as of today, there shouldn't be anybody on this call that their CV is not properly done. There's AI there, ChatGPT is also there to help. There are a lot of templates, and there are lots of people that even offer these services professionally, helping to revamp CVs. So please and please, as aspiring lawyers or as practicing lawyers, your curriculum vitae, that is the first thing that people that want to employ you, that is their first point of contact, and it's going to speak to the kind of person that you are. If your CV is not properly aligned, if your CV is not properly done, doesn't have structure, the person, yes, I know we say that don't judge a book by its cover, but it automatically would make the person not interested. Just put yourself in the shoes of your employers. They have hundreds of CVs. Okay, the first shortlisting process. Okay, let's go through the CVs. Let's even pick out the ones that look good before they even read the content. So pick out the ones that look aesthetically pleasing. By the time, oh, you're a first class student, you're a very intelligent student, but your CV wasn't properly done, before they even click on it to start reading the content, you might have lost the chance. So there are some things that are mistakes that we shouldn't even make. So please and please try to work on your CV if you haven't, and make sure that your CV is very good, and also your cover letters that you'd use to apply to law firms or any organization that you'd want to apply to. If you need help, you can seek help from your fellow colleagues. Tell them, oh, please let me see your CV. You can pick one or two things from it. And I'm not saying you should, because there's some people that would ask their colleagues that, okay, can you share your CV with me? They will share it to you. Now copy everything word for word. If they say about the person, you copy the same thing that your colleague wrote. No, you should, if you're using someone else's CV as your template, you should tailor it to your own person, not that you copy it verbatim. You can also speak to your senior colleagues as to helping you to go through your CV. And very importantly, we also have AI that can help you. Chat GPT is also there that can help you to edit if you need it. And for job hunting, we're done with the CV and cover letter part. I want to tell you tonight, that you shouldn't be afraid to go for what you want. Yes, I know. Ah, oh, they said this organization, there is a certain caliber of persons that can apply there. I am going to categorically tell you today that do not be afraid to go for what you want. If you want that law firm, apply for it. If you want that organization, apply for it. Worst case, you get a no, and you'd move on and you go on to the next. And as you keep applying, you would get a yes. And I would also want to encourage us tonight that we shouldn't be afraid to shoot our shots. I would explain what I mean. I'll give you a story. So after call to bar, I'd applied to a law firm before that I wanted to work with, but it didn't work out. And I had been following a managing partner of a law firm online. I'd been seeing a post about him and the law firm. So one day I was just like, okay, let me shoot my shot. I sent him a DM on Instagram. Yes, it wasn't even on LinkedIn. I sent him a DM on Instagram. I introduced myself. I mentioned some of the things that I had been reading about him that were very interesting and inspiring. And I told him that if he doesn't mind, I would like to work with him. And guess what? I got the job. That was my first job after call to bar. I shot my shot on DM through Instagram DMs, and I got the job. That was the first job that I got after my call to bar. Just imagine that I was afraid that this person doesn't even know me. How will I just what? Why no? Why should I be sending? No, it doesn't even make sense. Or should I say it's not giving? Or why? Why? It's not possible. I did that and I got the job. I sent the DM and he told me to resume the next week. And I'm talking about a prominent law firm here in Abuja. That's how I bagged my first job. So I want to tell you again tonight that do not be afraid to go for what you want. Do not be afraid to shoot your shots. The worst thing they would say is no, and you move on. And with that confidence, I can assure you that you get something, if not even something better. So please, if you get a no today, be rest assured that you'd get a yes tomorrow. So that's for your job hunting. Please don't forget, work on your CV, work on your cover letter. Also apply to as much firms as you want to, or to organizations that you want to. And I want to keep this in that we shouldn't just apply to places just because people are applying to it. That is where research comes in. Apply to places where you can relate with. Apply to places where, okay, this is my short-term goal, this is my long-term goal, or at the end of the day, working here, how would it impact on my short-term goals? How would it impact on my long-term goals? I found people that just started working somewhere just because they learned that people were working there and they just wanted to join the crowd. But at the end of the day, your race is different from your friend's race, or is different from someone else's race. So you should focus on that. Do not just apply anywhere. You should apply based off of your short-term goals and your long-term goals, because you don't want to just waste a couple of years of your life just working somewhere just because you want to work. You have to find fulfillment in whatever you're doing, and it has to help you grow also. So please let us take note of that. And yes, we've spoken about your CV, we've spoken about cover letters, we've spoken about shooting your shots and applying to places you want to apply to, and not taking no for an answer. But as aspiring lawyers or lawyers already practicing, do you have employability skills? There are certain skills that your employers will look for once you send in your CV, once you send in your cover letter, even during your interview process. Do you have employability skills? If I would list the employability skills that we have, and if you know that you do not have 5 out of the skills that I would list, it means that you have some work to do. So it's never too late to start working on all those things. So the first thing is problem solving. It's not until when you start solving law questions, it starts from you, your personality. Do you have problem solving skills? If you do not have, you can work on it. If you already have, you can work on it for it to be better. You need to have problem solving skills. You need to have communication skills. You are going to be a lawyer, particularly if you are going to be a litigation lawyer, you know that you have to be able to address the court properly. You have to be able to speak to the counsel on the other side. You have to be able to speak to your colleagues at work. You have to be able to speak to your clients. You have to be able to speak to your boss or bosses, as the case may be at work. So you need to fine-tune your communication skills. Another thing is you need to work on your adaptability skills. Life as an undergraduate, life as a law graduate would be different from life as a lawyer. So, and the ability to be able to adapt to the stage in life that you are now, it would help. So one of the skills you need to work on is your adaptability skills. You should work on that. The next skill you should work on is collaboration. While I was in uni, I used to read alone. I don't used to do group reading with people. I do not, even in law school, I was reading alone. Once you become a lawyer, you need to work on your collaboration, because when you start working, you'd be assigned to teams. You would report to someone who is above you. And as you grow, you'd also work with people that will be under you. So you need to learn to be able to work with people. You should work on your collaboration skills also. Another skill you need to have is your time management skills. When you become a lawyer, you would have to work on your time management. That's why, if you remember in my introduction, I said if that juggling the practice of law or juggling being a lawyer in your personal life, that you might have a tough time with that. You have to have time management skills, because now, for those that will be working a 9 to 5, some will be working an 8 to 6, some would be working virtually for 24 hours, because even after you close from the office, they would give you tasks. You might still need to jump on some calls, have some meetings online. You must be able to manage your time well. As a lawyer, manage your time to be able to effectively finish up the tasks that you're given, deliver on your tasks, deliver on whatever tasks you're being given, and to also manage it with your personal life, because you wouldn't say that now because you're a lawyer, your family will have to suffer. So you have to be able to work on your time management skills. Another skill that you need to work on is your organization skills. You need to learn how to organize your life, your timetable, your tasks, your files, your clients. When you become a lawyer, depending on what area of law you'd work in, and depending on the kind of tax you're also given, because I don't know, different organizations, they have different rules, but I know that for some, you would have to relate with clients also. So your organization skills covers a whole lot of things: organizing your own personal schedule, organizing your tasks, organizing your client's business. You have to have the organization skills. If you want to thrive as a lawyer, you need to know how to organize. The next is technology use. Thank God life is a bit more easier than it was before. Gone are the days where they use typewriters. Now we use printers. Now we do not even have to, if we need some documents or agreements, we can get some templates online. Sometimes if you need some things, you could ask ChatGPT. As an aspiring lawyer, as a lawyer, there are some things that you should know how to use, some softwares that you should know how to use. You can't tell me that as a lawyer you do not know how to use Google Docs. You don't even know how to use ChatGPT. You don't know how to prepare PowerPoint. There are some things that you shouldn't say you do not know how to do. It's okay actually not to have known how to do them, but technology has made it really easier that for things that you do not even know how to do, you could check YouTube and you'd learn how to do it. That is why I said you do not have an excuse as to, oh, I don't know how to do this, because whatever you want, oh, okay, I want to upload a folder from my Google Docs. I want to send it as a mail. If you don't know how to do that, you could type it out on Google. How can I upload a folder on Google Docs and send it as a mail? You would get your answer. So there are certain things, because when some of the things that your employers will look out for, even after they engage you, they would ask you to do some things. Some people, they would ask them to, okay, type out a letter. You do not know how to align. You do not know how to justify. Those are things that are not so good as a lawyer, because, like I said, when I was talking about CV and our cover letters, the outputs you send out in terms of letters, any documents from you, it speaks volume as to the kind of person that you are. So please, one of the skills that in this time and age you must have, technology skills. You should also work on your personality traits also, because you know that we have different personality traits, and Your personality traits could also make or mar you in the legal profession. You know, I don't know, in for the aspiring lawyers in our externship period, I'm sure that a lot of us had some comments to put in our logbook as to the things that we witnessed in court. Because you would get to court and you see some lawyers and be like, and you call yourself a lawyer, why are you saying this kind of thing in court? You would see the way some lawyers address the court. You would see the way some lawyers, even maybe let's say generally now on social media, you see the way some lawyers act on social media, and you can already tell that this person, I don't feel so good about the person. So your personality traits would also make Omar you, and it will also make Omar being employable or not. So we should work on that. Leadership. Last but not the least, leadership. You must be a leader. Whether you're leading from the front or you're leading from the back, you must work on your leadership skills, because at one point or the other, you would have to lead. And when I'm saying leading, it doesn't necessarily mean when they say, oh, okay, we are choosing Victor, we're choosing Judith to oversee this group. No. There are times where you'd have to take initiative by yourself to do things where your employers will not have to expressly tell you that, okay, Precious or Tolu, please do this. And you take initiative to do that. So we should work on our leadership skills and make sure that we fine-tune our leadership skills, because I know that every one of us were leaders. So quickly, I'll be going to personal branding. So yes, you're going into the legal profession. What are the things you need to do? Personal branding. What investments are you making in yourself or on yourself? The first thing I'd like to tell you, now that you still have the time, is to invest as much as you can in courses, in trainings, in conferences, as much as you can. Please invest. Please try as much as possible to learn. There are free courses online that you can enroll for. Please try as much as possible to invest. What will give you an edge over the next applicant is that extra course that you did, that extra conference that you did, that extra training. It's to excite you that your employer, you might be just that course that you did, and your employer will see yourself and be like, oh, I did this course too. And for that, they will just pick an interest in you. You never can tell. So please invest in that course, invest in that training, invest in those conferences. And to the most important now, I will tell you to invest in your looks. It might sound cliche, but I will tell you, invest in your looks as much as you can. I'm not saying you should rob a bank. Within your means, please try as much as possible to dress as well as you can. Dress smart. Iron your clothes. There are a lot of stories. I know that we have seen a couple of stories on social media, or even we would have heard, and I'm trying to say it again or reiterate that. I've heard or I've seen people that lost deals just because those people that wanted to give them deals felt they didn't look good enough. Like I mentioned it earlier, that they say do not judge a book by its cover, but people actually do judge a book by its cover. It will surprise you that for the interview that you're going for, they will tell some people that we're sorry, we can't engage you, and they would pick the person that seemingly dressed better just because they felt like the person looked better. Yes, and why would they do that? No, now they should look at the knowledge, they should look at the brilliance and everything. But I want to tell you that even as you are very good, even as you are very sound, please add the icing to please try as much as possible to dress well as much as you can. It goes a little as ironing your clothes, cleaning your shoes. Just make sure that your hair is properly cut. As a lady, that you have a nice hairdo. If your edges are already looking bushy, just try to gel it down. Just try as much as possible to have a put together look. It would help you with your employers, and it will even help you in life generally. heard of. I saw it online, I think a couple of weeks ago, where someone said that he knows for some people that give out contracts that they would escort the people out to just see the kind of cars that they drive, because the rich do not want to entrust, or they would not want to give you a certain amount that they know that, or they think that you haven't handled before. So please, as much as you can, please try to invest in your looks. It's very, very important. Invest in yourself also. What do you represent? A lot of people do not know that as you are a personal brand. As you are a personal brand. If I go to your Instagram page, Oyintolu Victor Ajewale, if I go to your Instagram page today, what impression would I have of you? If I go to your LinkedIn, if I go to your Twitter, what impression would I have of you? Please know you are going to be a lawyer, or you're a lawyer in equity. Please know that whatever you put out, that is what people will interpret that you are, or interpret you to be. You can't tell me that you're a lawyer, you're building a personal brand, and on your Instagram, you put lawyer in your bio and you have like a twerking video. I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to control what you do, but I'm trying to say that this type of information that you put out about yourself, you should be very careful of it. Because if I'm a client that wants to give you a corporate deal, and I go on your Instagram and I see that, I might not take you seriously. What you put out about yourself is very important. There's some of you that if they go to Instagram, they would see you under someone's comment section begging for airtime, 100 naira, or begging for airtime, or saying you have not eaten since yesterday. Please, all of those things, you shouldn't do that. Some of you, you're a known troll online. Please do not do that to yourself. You're going to be a big lawyer by the grace of God, and you're going to thrive. So do not do things that will sabotage your career. You don't know what heights you would get to in future. You wouldn't want, oh, okay, they want to appoint you for this position, and just because someone dug out an information about you, you couldn't get the role. Do you know that there are some employers that they would have their tech department go through your social media page to check out some things or some information about you, and some people lose jobs that they should have gotten because of their social media. So please try as much as possible to be careful of whatever you put out on social media, what you represent, what people would see when they see your page, what people would see when they see you. Last but not least is article writing. I know that it's not everyone that are born writers, but as much as you can to bag that job, there's extra things that your employers will look out for. And like I said, now you have some free time in your hands. It could just be about minute things that, oh, you just come up with an opinion, a legal opinion on, and that can give you the boost that you need. There are a lot of scenarios on social media, there are a lot of topics that you can write a legal opinion on, and you can publish it. For example, the very popular one of, okay, a guy sent money to someone and a lady pretended as if she was going to come to travel down to his side, but she didn't. And there's a case on it, obtaining by false pretense. You could write a legal opinion on it. You could write a legal opinion on trolls on Instagram. You could write about literally anything, and it would give you an edge over your colleagues when you are applying for roles, or when they say that, oh, you've written a legal opinion about this, you've written an article about this. Oh, what is that thing that would make you stand out from the rest? Yes, we'll have 100 or 1,000 lawyers that will be called to bar. What is that thing that, okay, they say, oh, what is that thing that would differentiate you from the other applicants? So please, as much as we can, some people, it might not be writing per se. For example, the conveners of this the conveners of this platform wherein we're having this meeting tonight, they're also doing something great. It's also something to help like young lawyers growing up or practicing lawyers also. So for some people, it might even be having like podcasts or having just randomly educating people about areas of law. Just do something that would make you stand out. Just do something that would really make you stand out. And I hope that if you apply all of the things that has been said today, it would give you an edge. Don't forget, I'm rounding up now. I'll just give a brief recap on everything that I've said so far while we start dropping our questions in the chat box. I mentioned about firstly finding our feet after the call to bar, and I mentioned that we should get rid of fear. Fear is our biggest enemy. I also mentioned that we should do our research about yourself, your interests, what you'd like to do, research about the area of law that whether you want to practice friends with quality people. Don't just be friends with people that will not put you onto opportunities, people that will not tell you that, oh, let's do it. One course, 1 month challenge. Let's read a book in a month. Let's do this. Not only people that, or it's only when there is gossip or when there is something that will not benefit you or someone that wouldn't help you grow, that you just be wary of friends or people that will not add value to your life. Your social network in terms of your mentors also, they would also help you. Your seniors in the profession, they would also point out areas that you should look out for because they are your mentors. They would know your strength, they will know your weaknesses, they'll be able to advise you rightly as to what you should do. Then I mentioned the God factor also, which is the most important because God amplifies our strength. Is the one that would give you favor. Is the one that would even give you clarity as to the things that you need to do or need to know. And I also told you that but as your job hunting, make sure your CV and your cover letter speaks well. We have people that can help you. If you need help, seek help from your fellow colleagues, seek help from your seniors, or even ChatGPT. And like I mentioned, do not forget or do not be afraid to go for what you want. And do not be afraid to shoot your shots. If you're afraid, remember that Blessing Adekoya told you that how she bagged her first job was that she sent an Instagram DM to our boss and she got the job. So please do not be afraid to shoot your shot. Do not be afraid to go for what you want. Worst case, you get a no and you'd move on. If you get no today, you will get a yes tomorrow. Best believe that. Please also work on your employability skills. Make sure to harness your problem solving, your communication, your time management, your organization, your leadership skills, most importantly, your personality traits also, because it would reflect in whatever work you do. And I also said you should work on your personal branding, invest in yourself, invest in courses, trainings, conferences, invest in your look, dress well, smell nice, and also be very careful as to information that you put out about yourself on social media. Sometimes you'll not be there to defend yourself. So just be careful, be wary of the things that you put out about yourself because that is what people will interpret you to be. And also find extra ways to add to your employability edge in terms of writing or other things that you can do that would make you or that would give you an edge over other applicants for the job role. I wish you all the very best. Do not be afraid. You're welcome to the largest profession in Africa. And please, your shoulders should be high because you've done well. You did that, and be rest assured by the grace of God that you are going to succeed and you thrive in the legal profession. Thank you very much, everyone. This was an amazing session. Please, if you have any questions for me, please do well to drop them in the chat box. Moderator, please over to you. Do we have any questions?
Okay. Thank you very much, Miss Blessing Adoke. I really appreciate whatever you've said. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your lessons. You've really taught us so far so good. We really appreciate. Please, those who have questions, please drop in the question box and we'll attend to it.
So is it okay to go on? I can see a question in the chat box.
Yes, ma. Yes, ma. Yes, ma. You can go on, ma. Yes, ma.
Okay, yeah. So Ipnaya Goodness says, good evening. Hi, Goodness. Do we need to create a new cover letter for each job we apply for? So what I would say, Goodness, actually a very good question, because I also struggled with that when I started applying. First, you need to know that, like I said, you need to know what firm you want to work with. If it's a law firm or just an organization. Do you understand? If you're working for a law firm, you need to research about the law firm as to their practice areas. There are some law firms that their core is litigation. There are some law firms that their core is intellectual property. There are some that theirs is corporate commercial law. So just imagine that you're applying to a law firm that their core is litigation, and you now write in your cover letter that the same cover letter that you use for a corporate commercial firm, you now replicate it and have it carry that you have experience in corporate commercial law. So you need to tailor your cover letter to the aspects of, or the area of practice of law of the law firm that you're applying to. And if it's an organization too, you'd research, check online for what the organization is about, what they do. That is how you tailor your cover letter. So yes, you need to tailor your cover letter to the law firm or organization you are applying to, and you also have to tailor it according to the role that you're applying for. Because I know that some law firms put out specific roles as to the roles that they want to employ. Oh, we're looking for a litigation lawyer, or we're looking for a lawyer that is versed in corporate commercial law. So you need to tailor it to that. I hope I've been able to answer your question. Goodness, thank you. Musa says, what advice do you have for new wigs who want to get into the company sector to work as an in-house counsel? So the sincere advice that I would give in my opinion, and as to the experience that I've had, is I'd advise that for your first year, work in a law firm. I'm sorry, I know some people might have like contradictory opinions, but I feel you should work in a law firm. Because now, to Musa's question, Musa wants to work in a company sector as an in-house counsel. So it depends. Is that the trajectory you want to take, like in your life? I mean, as to your short-term and long-term goals. If you know that you have no business in law practice and you have other things you want to pursue, or you just mainly or solely want to pursue being an in-house counsel, well, you can do that. Because while you're there, if you're employed, you can learn on the job, and maybe the seniors that you'd meet there will teach you. But my own candid advice for anyone, because when I wanted to work, I wasn't so certain about the area of law I wanted to specialize in yet. That was the honest truth. I wasn't so sure. So I wanted an avenue to be able to test waters. And I got that by the grace of God. Which is why I said we should not forget the God factor also. I wanted to know if I would like litigation or corporate commercial. So I worked in a firm, my first job, I worked in a firm where I had a taste of both. I was in the corporate commercial department, quite all right, but we had cases that we handled that made us to go to court. So I had a taste of both litigation and corporate commercial, and I usually also used to work on like matrimonial causes matters. it gave me a taste, and it made me know what aspect of law. So going forward, I knew that okay, I think I like this one more than this one. But if you just conclude and just dive into one, you might not really know, except if you're certain. That's why I said know yourself, do your research about yourself, your goals. If you're certain that in-house counsel is what would be for you or what would work for you, you can go ahead. If you want to work in the company sectors, look out for the companies that you'd want to apply to, read about them, find out if they're employing, tailor your CV, tailor your cover letter to tailor your cover letter to the roles that they would want. So yes, I hope I've been able to answer your question, Musa. Obiako asks, my question is on the issue of a good CV and cover letters. Cover letters particularly, what makes a good cover letter that can stand? Since the curriculum vitae has pretty much everything already without seeming like a repetition. So you know that a your curriculum vitae, your CV list out your achievements, um, list out your background and the things that you're good at. But your cover letter introduces yourself. You know, in your CV, if you under your skills, you just list them out: problem solving, communication. This you just list them out. But in your cover letter, you can amplify. So in your cover letter, you basically introduce yourself. In your cover letter, you also basically state the area of law that you have experience in, and you would state also why you would want to be engaged by that firm. You know, you cannot put that in your CV. So that is what your cover letter is for. Introduce yourself, briefly talk about the experience that you have in the area of practice of that law firm you're applying to, and also state why the law firm should engage you, why the organization should engage you. So I hope I've been able to answer your question, Obiako. And you know that your cover letter is usually not lengthy also, so there is no case of repetition. You're just amplifying what is in your CV. Ali says, please, what are the factors that one should consider to help make the decision whether to go in-house or otherwise? So like I had mentioned earlier, and like I'm reiterating, what are your long-term and short-term goals? You need to know yourself. That's why I said it from the beginning that you cannot just apply to places just because people are applying. What are your interests? Oh, Vivian, what do I actually enjoy doing? Do I think I would thrive in litigation? Do I think, oh, it's energy law that would actually work for me? Because you know that there are these areas of law that were not even, that were not prominent, but some people, because they were passionate about it, made it now become prominent. An instance is human rights. So you need to know what you are passionate about, and you need to know how it aligns with your short-term goals, long-term goals. Okay, in the next 2 years, in the next 4 years, in the next 10 years, where do I want to be? That picture would help you in making that decision. And like I said also, having quality people you can speak to, your mentors, elderly persons, or your colleagues that you can share, okay, I feel like I'm good in this area. And the funny thing is, for some of you, your colleagues, they even know you more than you know yourself. They can easily see and tell you that, I think you would thrive in this area of law. I think you would thrive here. And the most important, God also. If you pray to God, God would give you clarity, give you answers to some of the questions that you want as to whether what area of law should I go into? Do I want to go into in-house, or do I want to practice in a law firm? So I hope I've been able to answer your question, Ali. Please, do we have any other questions? If you have any other questions, please send them to the chat box. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much. With this Google Meet, I know I've been able to get rid of my fears. I've been able to know that I need a more research skills to boost my research skills. I know I need to maintain a good social ambience. and I need God to succeed all around. Thank you so much, ma. I really appreciate. I also encourage all of us, those prospective aspirants to the bar and already lawyers already to patronize the done projects and also to reach us through Papa David. Supposedly, you want to get more answers to questions already, and also, this webinar will be continuing tomorrow. We'll also drop the link for everybody to join and also continue. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate. Thank you so much, Miss Blessing. Thank you so much. And please also don't forget to hook up to tomorrow's classes. Thank you very much. Tomorrow's Google Meet. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. This will be all for now. Thank you so much, Miss Blessing. Thank you so much. From Legbel Edge, your moderator. Thank you so much. I appreciate.
Thank you very much, guys. Well done, Legbe.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, I would like Erin Young to take us on closing prayers. Thank you very much.
All right. So let us pray. So thank you, Lord, for today's session. I pray that everything we learn today shall stay with us, and we shall be able to put it into practice, and we shall get great results. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. This will be all for now. Please don't forget to attend tomorrow's section. Thank you so much. Tomorrow's session is also starting by 8. Thank you very much, guys. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.